Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about two strategies for an artist to build a successful art career or art business. I want to talk about this because I just watched a video by Li Ziran, a Chinese entrepreneur slash YouTuber influencer. In his video, he was talking about two different kinds of entrepreneurs, and I was really inspired. And basically he said they are the ones who focus on building better products and the ones who focus on building more influence. And when I heard that, I could immediately relate to emerging artists. And today you do have those two choices, and which one is right for you. That's why I want to develop this theory in my video. Hopefully it can be helpful. If you have your own opinions, your own take on this, make sure to leave me a comment in the comment box below. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. First of all, I want to say the more classical way of a contemporary artist focusing on better products. So the product-based approach to building your art business. When I say product, I don't mean that your art is a generic product. It's not an insult or offense of any sort. It's just a business way of talking about things. So what I mean is your art is, of course, not just a product, but a unique product circulating in the world of art, in the art markets. And artists who take this approach are generally very well trained, maybe from art schools, and they spend a lot of time perfecting their skills, their techniques, and they would like to, in the future, work with top curators, museums, famous art galleries, and they would rather sell their work at $1 million, just one work, rather than a million works at the price of $1. So this mentality is rather elitist. Like in the last video, I talked about selling your art to the rich and powerful elite social class. A good example would be artist Leng Jun. He is a famous Chinese artist in the world of art only. He's not famous outside of art. He's very well respected. His work is sold at a lot of money, as you can see, collected by very important museums and collectors alike. But his social media influence, which he probably could not care less about, is not even maybe as influential as your own or your 16-year-old nephew. I'm just saying that he's not that famous outside of the world of art, neither internationally or in China, but because his works are very well made, the quality of the quote-unquote product is very high. So it doesn't really matter if he has 1 million likes or 1 million shares. If he could sell his work for several $1 million, it doesn't really matter anymore about his social media influence, right? So I think you would agree with me. So this is one approach to making a successful art business. Now the second approach is the influence-based or traffic-based approach. That is to say, you want to be a social media darling, Instagram hot babe / artist. You want to be influential on different social media so that you could reach millions of people, if not hundreds of thousands of people. That's fine too. You can already have a successful business this way. So you could still make a living as a professional artist. And generally artists who are taking this route are younger, tech-savvy, likely from design school, not from a typical fine art school who have been formulated in a very classical, traditional way. I would say very young, millennium and younger kind of artists who are native to social media, to a digital way of promoting their art. And artists like this would rather spend time learning social media skills, like a weekend crash course on social media, rather than perfecting their maybe art history knowledge or art techniques. I'm not saying it as a criticism. I'm just saying that we all have 24 hours a day. They would rather value the skills in promotion, social media, digital marketing, rather than something in the classical, in the traditional academic side. I don't really have a good example. Maybe a bad example would be Paris Hilton. She wants to be an artist, and she's already a very popular artist because of her influence of her social media. If you know any other more appropriate example, please also let me know in the comment box below. Now I want to talk about the challenges artists face when they're taking each of the different strategies. So the first strategy, the product-based approach, is that right now with the pandemic, we don't really know what's going to happen with art fairs, with art galleries. A lot of art galleries are closing down and art fairs postponed into who knows when. So there are a lot of challenges, and the artists in this side of the river normally would like to sell through art galleries and art fairs in a more, let's say, traditional sense. So they don't really have a direct way to sell their art. So their sales are heavily impacted by the pandemic. So this is definitely something that you need to take into account when you are trying to go this approach. And the second thing is that you need a bigger startup capital than an average artist, because you need to invest more in your education, in the production. You need to perhaps also build more like a solid portfolio to be accepted by art galleries. To be able to sell your art for hundreds of thousands of dollars, you need like a more track record, so it takes longer, so you need more money to sustain yourself. Meanwhile, maybe when you sell your first work at the price of 20,000, the price tag, it will take you a year or 2 years. But during that 2 years, you need to eat, right? You need to invest in your art business. You need to pay back your mortgage or student loans. So there are a lot of liabilities. You need to take care of that. You need to make sure that you have enough money as a startup capital before 100% pursuing this way. The third thing is, again, it's like startup capital. It takes you a lot longer to become a established artist in this market. It will take you a long time, so you need to be patient, and maybe it will take you 5 to 10 years. And that's why I always advise artists to take a 5 to 10 year plan and to make sure that you are mentally, financially, and any other physically and materially prepared for this long journey. And it's not just a sprint, it is a marathon. Last but not the least, you are relatively unknown. Even if you are known in the art world, you are known among the top elite professionals and collectors, you're still not so well known among the, let's say, the public. So the art dealers who are more known, let's say, the art galleries, the art fairs, and the curators, and they could take easily advantage of you because you have no connection directly to your collectors. So if you want to cut them off, you cannot. You don't have the necessary infrastructure like an emailing list or website, social media with the connections. So you're kind of stuck if you want to go out of the collaboration, the contract with them, and they will exploit you because they can, because legally they can, right? So you sign a contract with them, and then they will take half of your earnings, and it can feel very frustrating and very unfair. And now I want to talk about the second approach, the trafficked or influence-based approach. The biggest challenge right now is the traffic, because today traffic is very scarce. It's not as easy as 10 years ago. If you open a YouTube channel 10 years ago, it'll be very easy for you to gain influence. But today, every content creator like myself are struggling with very slow growth because of the competition, the timing, the algorithm, and a lot of things. So today, to get traffic, to get influence is a lot more difficult than 10 years, 5 years, even 3 years ago. So it's a time that where everybody's trying to go online, like a gold rush, where you have to really fight really hard to get followers, to get influence. Secondly, there are a lot of uncertainty with social media, like TikTok is going to perhaps be shut down, unfortunately, and Tumblr has been dying for a while, has been losing influence and traffic and audience. Even if you choose Instagram, which is one of the best platforms for artists today, it is not evergreen. Maybe one day it will lose influence because of competition, because of policy making, whatever. So you can lose influence because the social media of your choice is going down. So your influence might be going down with it as well. Third thing is that there are a lot of luck involved. There's no magic formula in going viral. So even if you have a friend who went viral, you want to learn from him or her, you cannot replicate the success of a viral artist, a viral video, a viral post, because there are a lot of things we don't really know. The metrics, the big data, you can look at it, but you might not be able to replicate. So it's also a very frustrating process for you to get a good hang of it and to gain influence and become someone on social media. Last but not the least, you all have 24 hours a day. If you spend the time promoting your art, you might not have time producing art and perfecting your art skills. Even if you say, I don't want social media, I want to build my own website, but still, building a successful, popular website with a lot of traffic, rank top on Google, is a very lengthy, time-consuming process. You either have to invest time or invest money, or maybe both. So if you don't have the money or time, it's both very scarce resources, you might not get the results you want. And there is another thing though that I don't want to go further, because I already talked about in other videos, is that even though that you are an influencer, you are a Instagram hot babe, very popular on social media as an artist, you might never be able to get accepted in the traditional fine art world, because they will look at you like you are just a content creator, you're an entertainer, you're not a real artist. I don't want to go further in this because I already talked about it in other videos, but this is another concern that you might want to keep in mind, that you might face this barrier, these difficulties. I'm not saying this is something that we should let it happen. We definitely should do something about it and change this and break the silos, but this is just the reality today. It's very hard to break the silo and to move to a different side. And now, if you are convinced of choosing one way or another way, I want to give you the last two advice before ending this video. My first advice, if you choose the first road of being a classical traditional fine artist from art school, working on your products, your art, you might still want to gain influence on social media, or maybe build a website and get traffic from Google, because you cannot escape the fate of going online, because right now everything is online, even galleries are going online. If you really feel intimidated working with social media, you can do a technical approach to social media. So when you're working with social media, you think it like if it's some sort of academic training, right? You find a formula that works for you, you find a methodology. If you're able to learn the art skills, I'm sure you will be able to learn the social media skills, because if you approach it step by step, take your time to learn, it's not rocket science. My second advice is for artists who choose the social media, the influence, the traffic path, who focus on promoting their art. I want to say that make sure you get in touch with important people in the art world and make a meaningful personal connection. If you're able to gain a few 100,000 followers, you already get a good hang of how to talk to people, to strangers, to important professional strangers online. And once you make that meaningful connection to the gatekeepers in the art world, you might wanna, let's say, put one foot into the world of fine art or contemporary art, not just the world of popular social media art, so that you can get the best of both worlds. Basically, the idea for artists who take either route is that you don't just go one road down into the end. You would want to break the silos and look at what artists are doing on the other side of the river to learn from each other, to get the best, so you are not isolated, you're not just looking down at your own belly button the whole time. All right, that's all for today. Let me know what you think and what is your plan for the rest of 2020 and maybe 2021. What are your goals and strategies to build a successful art business? That's all. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.